soft glass Marini, and I was on Facebook one day, and some dude named Jason Lee messaged me and asked me if he could buy some of my skulls, and I'm like, he said cash or trade, and I'm like, I didn't know who he was at the time, or it said trade.
What up, y'all? I'm Steve, and welcome to another exciting Elev8, where we sit down with some cool ass artists in this industry. First, we have this really cool ambassador program. You can join as an Elev8 doll or an Elev8 gent, and it's really awesome. You get to help us build Elev8. It's super unique, super special, and you're really a part of something special. Check out elev8ambassador.com to learn more. Another cool thing we have is our Elev8 Veterans program. I'm really honored to be a part of it. Teresa helps run it, and it's super awesome. We get to rehabilitate and reacclimate veterans into society our way. And you know what? I think we're doing it right. Go check it out at elev8veterans.com. Third, there's Elev8 Bingo. It's super cool, super fun, and we get to show you more of what we do. And on top of that, every game there's a chance to win $50 credits for elev8glassgallery.com. Go check it out. And now, let's roll into this super awesome Elev8. Welcome to Elev8. We got Steve Boehme here, and thanks a lot for joining. It's an honor to have you here, man.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me.
Hell yeah. So first question, how did you get into this crazy thing of glass? Because you got to be a little bit crazy to do it, because it's freaking hard.
You want the long story or the short one?
I want the good story. Yeah.
I started out in glass in 1997, and I helped build a hot shop at the Sundance Ski Resort.
So it's soft glass.
It's soft glass. I had a Finnish glass blower named Kaisa Gibb, was the master glass blower there, and I learned how to do a lot of hot shop work, and I worked at Sundance till 2007, I think, is when I left Sundance. And back then, I didn't know about boro torches or Marini. You know, I got to where I can make shot glasses and you know, tumblers and whatever that they needed at the. We basically worked with recycled glass from the restaurant.
Oh,
whatever people were drinking, that's what we were blowing. We'd save up Sky vodka bottles. We had a 300-gallon day tank. We just throw bottles in it constantly.
And it just keep filling it up, and then you just
But I never got to be more than you know, I wasn't good or anything, but I really loved it. Then when I left Sundance, I didn't know about torches. I didn't know about Marini. I didn't know about any of that. And there wasn't really a big internet presence for glass blowing back then. Mm-hmm. I didn't even think I had a computer back then, to tell you the truth.
Right.
It was 2007. And then when I left glass blowing, I didn't have enough money to start a studio at home. So I just kind of gave up glass blowing for a long time, and I became a studio potter instead.
Wow.
I did pottery for 19 years, pretty much.
And then how did you get back into the boro world?
So I was just like hanging out at an arts festival selling pottery. It was a slow day. The lady next to me was a lady named Jody McDougall. She's a soft glass torch worker, and she had all these little pictures in the glass and little faces, and there was like little skulls and like Utah landscapes. I'm like, how do you get the picture in the glass? I'm like, is that a sticker or what is that? And then she told me about Marini. And she taught me about Lauren Stump. And I'm like, Jody, you need to teach me this stuff. You got to teach me a class. She says, I don't teach classes. You got to go get a Lauren Stump class. You want to learn Marini? And I'm like, okay. And I got stalking her on the internet, and I found her Etsy store. And she had a soft glass bead demo for $150. She'd teach us a lesson, and I bought it off her Etsy. So she had to teach me stuff. And the whole time she's trying to teach me how to make beads, I kept asking her about Marini, and I finally talked her into making a little Marini skull for me. And I took that class with me and my son, who we've been on the torch the same amount of time. My son Gavin, he's at Conversion Glass, but Jody had taken Lauren Stump's class like 8 or 9 times. And so after I took the class from her, I understood Marini, and just came home. I think I had a torch within 2-3 weeks, and I was making Marini. I think I made over 100 skulls till I figured it out. These little stupid Marini skulls. I think there's about 100 soft glass skulls.
Why do you think there wasn't any kind of like knowledge transfer from the soft glass world that that this Boro world, even lamp working, even existed. And it's been around as long almost, maybe not Boro, but.
Well, I don't know. I quit smoking weed when I started having kids. So it's like, I wasn't in the scene anymore. And I wasn't around people that smoke weed very much. So I didn't know about glass pipes. You know, when I was smoking weed, it was, you know, whatever we could find.
Right.
We were making pipes out of apple cores and carrots. But I started making soft glass Marini. And I was on Facebook one day, and some dude named Jason Lee messaged me and asked me if he could buy some of my skulls. And I'm like, he said cash or trade. And I'm like, I didn't know who he was at the time, or would have said trade. But Jason was one of my very first customers for Marini.
And so is he buying soft glass Marini from you?
Yeah, he bought my soft glass Marini from me, and he was big on Mac at the time, which is a Facebook group. It's Millipori collectors, artists, and addicts on Facebook. And someone had gone on my Etsy store and bought all my Marini and was flipping them on Maca for twice as much. I know who that is now.
I love the hustle. Well, you can't hate the hustle.
No, but Jason. After I got talking to him, and he told me about Boro. Basically, I started making Marinis out of Boro to play with Jason, because to collab.
He couldn't put any of your soft glass stuff on his.
Oh no, they explode Boro, man. You don't mix soft glass and Boro. But Jason was nice enough to teach me a little bit about Boro, and then I told him like I would just buy cheap Boro to start out. I didn't have any money when I first started, so it was ridiculously stupid at what glass I would buy. Chinese glass, Indian glass, whatever was like 10, 15 bucks a pound.
Right.
And so I was using all this crappy glass, and he kind of educated me on how to melt like I was boiling the shit out of things. My first collab we did was a Joker and a Batman. And the Joker, I boiled the white so much that it has 10,000 million little pinholes all over it. I don't know how Jason saved it actually when he did the collab. So that was pretty cool. You know, Jason Lee got me into Boro, and I always love him for that forever. Yep.
Man, that's such an amazing story, you know, to the transfer, the beginning, the getting out, stepping out and coming back into it.
Yeah.
And then doing the milli, because that's some hard stuff. It's to understand, because you're building it out this crazy way.
It builds from the inside out. But Marini is all about. I don't know if I got a whole bunch kicking around here. There's like a little face, but I start out the skull, and you start out with building the nose, and then you build the nose component. Then you build the eyes, and if you build the eyes right, you could flip it. And then you could just make the same eye component. Then you got a million little teeth. So when I was building the skulls, you know, that pretty much taught me Marini, because I learned how to put together complex canes. And in soft glass, that stuff's nasty. I mean, it melts so fast that it's like, if you miss a stick, you're toast.
Right.
Or if you miss a stick, you could cool it down and knock it off. So, but Boro is Marini making is painting. You have all the problems that painters have, and drawing. You got values of light and dark. You have line. You have color values. You have to mix all your colors. And with Boro, there's not a big pile of colors. Like there's only like 2 safe greens we can use right now. And if I want to use a darker green, I have to add midnight to timber. So you have to mix glass like you're a painter to get all the shading in your Marinis. But you have all the struggles of the sculptor too, because you're pushing all that stuff around 3-dimensionally. And another thing that it makes it difficult is it's always facing away from you on the torch. I mean, you got a Marini on a punty. Here's one right now I'm working on. So she's always facing away from me. You can see her right now.
Mackerels.
So when I'm working, I'm striping the Marini, and I don't even know what the hell's going on until I look up and see, you know. It's kind of funny.
Right. And so I'm sure there's a skill set there, just laying the line down so it doesn't get thick and thin. And then if it does.
Striping's a bitch. I teach a lot of classes and watch people learn how for the first time. And you got to find a sweet spot in the flame. And you don't want to boil the glass. You just want to lay it down really smooth. So it's like
and you can't trap air bubbles.
Air bubbles are a bitch. There's no way to get around air bubbles. You're going to trap air. The only people I know that don't trap air are like totally meticulous.
Okay.
People like Dapo and Jerry Kelly, those two people, I don't ever see a bubble in any of their work. Ryan McClure, he's amazing too. But the thing is, when I'm mixing my own colors, it's like bubbles are inherent. It's like there's no way to get around them. I mean, I mix so much. I mix like a pound of color, 2 or 3 pounds a day sometimes.
Oh, wow.
And when you're mixing color, bubbles happen. And boro glass kind of sucks. It's like it's imperfect to start with.
Mm-hmm.
So it breaks down easily in the flame. It's prone to boiling. I don't know. Chromium colors and cadmium colors are always prone to self-destruction anytime. So it's like you can spend a month on something and it could die in the kiln and you can lose $4,000 in 10 minutes.
Wow. Yeah. So same thing. You got to be crazy to do this thing because the risk. You're putting in tons of time, and then you have that. If I use the wrong color, it's just toast. So that's why I always think that glass is the ultimate medium. You get one chance at it. And while you're a painter and you got to know the highlights, you also got to know the chemistry that it's not going to fuck up down the road.
Yeah, I was a potter for a long time and I mixed my own glazes. So it's like I know the chemistry in glass. And I figured out what glass I can use and what glass I can't use based on trial and error. It's like right now I have a palette that's safe, but that palette is not necessarily safe in all conditions. You can't leave a Marini in the kiln very long. If you put it, it's like a lot of glass blowers will work on something, put it in the kiln all day long, let it sit there in the garage at 1050, and that breaks down your colors. Why it's in there. With boro, you got to work fast. You got to get it in the kiln, build your component, take it out, and I crash them and just let things cool down slowly in ceramic fiber.
Okay.
So it's like things don't sit in the kiln all day. I have a lot of people that's the one thing, if I could teach any Marini maker, I'm like, don't garage your work, dude. Make the component, anneal it for 20 minutes, then crash it. You just don't want to keep your stuff in the kiln. If anyone learns anything from this interview, that's magical right there. That'll save everyone's work. Because I can still use a lot of chromium colors and bad colors if you can keep them out of the kiln. The longer they sit in the kiln, the more damage happens to the color. And it's called a state change or a phase shift, where the colors will become like chromium will become a different version of chromium. I don't know all the numbers, and it's like chromium 6, chromium 4, but chromium starts to grow crystals and becomes different than the chromium that went into as a pigment. So it's shitty stuff. It's no good.
Wow. but it's the only way to get that color. So
it is. It really is. Like peacock and aqua azuli and all that. They're chromium, cobalt, blues, and there's no way to make them without chromium. So it's like if you want a turquoise, you're gonna have to risk blowing up your Marini.
Right. And those colors work really great on their own.
Yeah, they really don't. I've seen them break down in everything. I've seen
really?
like total famous artist stuff just sitting on the shelf and watching and looking as the one backstack line crazed all the way down. That is just bad glass to begin with.
Right. And there's nothing you can do about it. Just
shit happens to everyone who makes stuff out of boro has had some horrible thing happen to their work.
Right.
I mean, Abe at North Star is like one of he's been so awesome at fixing colors and trying to give us a wide range of color. I love North Star right now. And it's just like, for them to make the color safe greens, I could just give him a hug every day.
Yeah, those new timber and the Roswell, it's unbelievable what those colors can do now.
Yeah. Well, I got somewhere to mix now. It's like I used to make all my greens I'd use Canary, and I'd mix them with dark cobalt to make my greens. And
how come you think maybe the color companies don't find some mix like that or do something?
Well, no one tells them. I mean, I was talking to James at North Star. It took like I started talking to him about greens back in 2013. And it took like 5 years of talking to him to make the timber in Roswell, because cobalt and yellow cadmium are pretty much safe. Yellow cadmium is always terrible, but but if you put chromium in a grain, it's gonna die no matter what anyone tells you.
So those new colors are just basically a canary with some cobalt to them?
Yeah, it's just cobalt and yellow cadmium and whatever else they put in there.
Yeah, here I thought it was some new cadmium they found. And
no, there's no cadmium involved in that. That's why I love it so much.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
chromium is definitely not good to glass artists. Necessary evil, I guess.
Yeah, man, that's so neat. So have you taken any other classes besides the one class at the beginning with the I forget her name, but
Her name's Jody McDougall.
Jody McDougall.
Yeah, and she's awesome. She makes some of the best marini in the world still. I mean, she just did like Ruth Bader Ginsburg and and the vice president, Camilla, was her Camilla, I can't remember say her name, Harris.
Bill Harris, yeah. Wow.
And she did Bernie those, and they were spot on, awesome.
And she does that all in soft glass.
Soft glass, yeah, 104 COE. So she's a bead lady through and through. She makes buttons. Is her #1 product. I wish I had some pictures of her stuff. They're pretty cool.
Well, I'll have to get her in one of these interviews. It sounds like she's an amazing lady.
Oh, she's amazing. She'd be fun.
Have you had any other classes to help your career along? And do you feel the classes?
So I graduated with a bachelor's of fine art and sculpture.
Okay.
Back in 1997. And so I have a fine arts background. I did painting and drawing and sculpture. I actually was doing painting and drawing in university. And then all my teachers were like 80, 90 years old. This boring as hell. And I went into the ceramic studio and the sculpture studio, and everyone was like listening to Nirvana, and the music was loud and everyone was fun. And so I switched my major just because painting was boring.
Do you feel though, understanding the painting and maybe learning the shading techniques there is what helps your marinis?
Oh yeah, I recommend any glass workers, like, because a lot of glass blowers were kind of misfits and they hate school. Mm-hmm. So they never got trained in any art. You know, it's like they love their art classes, but they stopped at high school. They never went on to college. And I learned about everything. I learned about photography, printmaking, pouring bronze, silversmithing. And, you know, I did tons. Now, right now I'm doing making knives and I'm doing Damascus steel.
Oh, wow. So you're just a creator.
I made it down. So I just always doing stuff. I drive my wife nuts. When I watch TV, I have a sketchbook and I'm drawing pictures of whatever we're watching on TV.
Man, that's good. It keeps your mind creative. You know, you'll probably never get his Alzheimer's. So that's good stuff.
I hope not, dude. That would suck.
No doubt, huh? So have you had any, I guess you have, periods in your career where you made big transitions, I guess going from soft glass to ceramics and then back to boro. In the boro world, have you had any big transitions?
So my first so I did boro and I made marini for a while and started to make marbles. Oops, hold on, my kiln's popped out. I'm in boro. So I did soft glass till from 2010 to 2011. And then when I met Jason Lee, I transitioned to boro. And the last soft glass thing I did was a Bertha, about 6 inches tall, and I did the complete rib cage with flowers in her hair. It was probably the best one I ever did. And I was putting the final stripes on the background, and the whole damn thing exploded because I let it get too cool. And that was the last soft glass ever, because that was just devastating. That stuff blows up every second if you don't keep it hot. And I didn't know about Bunsen burners and shit back then. So it was
nobody did back then. And Bunsen burners have been around forever.
I know. But then my first transition, Jason Lee was probably my first mentor. And just talking to him on the phone, him being super nice, led me to, understand a lot. And then I went, and I don't think it was like 2005 or 2000. I don't even know, 2012, 2015 or somewhere around there. I went to Tucson and hung out with Carl Taylor for a few days. Grim Glass.
Yeah.
I was teaching a class at the Sonoran Arts Center, and Carl Taylor's studio was 5 minutes from that. So I just stayed a whole week and taught my class and hung out with Carl the whole time. And Carl Taylor was like a Boro mastermind genius of everything. And I learned more from Carl in 5 minutes than I have my entire life. He's that dude is amazing.
He certainly
I think if he taught classes, everyone should take a Carl class. I was trying to tell him I would still go take his class if he's going to teach one. But he taught me vacuum encasement techniques and how to apply marines I've never, is like mind-blowing. And mind-blowing techniques of how to make marine, like how to stack components, how to fix components once, like if you get bubbles in them. And like, I just learned tons of stuff from Carl. He's amazing. If I had it was like that changed my glass life would be Jody McDougall, Carl Taylor, and Jason Lee. So it's like those three people are awesome.
Right on, man. Thank you for bringing those up. And yeah, I mean, they're, Jason Lee and Carl, they've been around in this world. Jody is new to me just because I didn't get to explore the soft glass world. And so, yeah, it's a neat world, man. What's the most difficult piece you've ever created so far?
I wish I had a picture of it, but it's the Mad Hatter. It was had the most components so far. I did a Mad Hatter. It won the Las Vegas, one of the last award, I think 3 years ago.
Okay.
But I had like something like 100 components, and it said like 15, 20 mushrooms, and then it had like his face, hand components, jacket components, feet,
and each mushroom
shoes,
was different.
What's that?
Each mushroom was different in there, and that's what you mean by components. Each piece.
Yeah, each different component. I mean, right now I can show you what I'm working on now. Well, I showed you the lady.
Yeah.
So I think I've got. Can't find them all. Leaves, roses. So it's like just in this one right here. I have to lick it because you can't see it. But here's her face. Is that Bertha's skull here? So you got eyes, eye, mouth, and then you have two different teeth. And then that took about a day to make the face. Probably took all day. And then in her hair, I've got a rosebud, two different roses. There's you probably won't be able to see any of this stuff on the camera. Rosebud. There's a leaf. And there's, then I put all the rosebuds together. So I pulled down one rosebud, hooked it to the leaf, and that's another component. So in her hair, I've got two different roses, the rosebud pulled down. So, you're looking at, 10, 15 components. I ain't even started yet. Oh, I did the hand too. I made a hand, a skeletal hand. That's one finger pulled down all the way. And then I pulled one finger down, different sizes, and stacked them all together. And then I'm going to put a rose on top of her hand with the rose coming out. Roses in her hair. Yeah, so it's like you're 20, 30 components in before you start. I didn't even put it together yet. It's been sitting on my desk for a week.
Right. So it takes weeks, sometimes months, probably to produce a milli of the quality that you do. I really am involved in details. I don't like to make scenes, so it's like I don't have a lot of time to work every day. So it's like I will build components for months to build the final thing. So right now, like I've been stockpiling this Bertha for probably the last month. Okay. Right.
Just I'll come out when I can. So I teach high school during the day, so it takes away a lot of my time. I work about 4 hours on the nights and then probably 16 hours on the weekends.
So
and then, yeah.
Do you have any hobbies outside of glass?
I like to go fishing. I ride my bike. Me and my wife like to hike. Yeah, I'm really fat, so I'm trying to ride my bike and be healthy. Glass blowers need to be healthy. All these guys sit in their studios and drink Coke all day, and they're just gonna puff up and die.
Yeah.
That's what I'm doing.
Stand there. Yeah. I feel you. I'm the opposite. I just don't eat, and then I just stand there and wither away too.
Wither away.
What are your favorite items to blow? I mean, I guess they are just marinis and creating detailed images.
So I want to be a better glass blower, so I've been learning, like we make our own backpack tubing here. I'm going to start marketing it too. I got a lathe coming from Vertigo, if he watches this, hurry up, dude. I want it so bad.
Those are nice slays.
Yeah. So when we've been doing all our backstack pulls by hand, and I got two dudes. I got two apprentices right now, Greg Grading and Zach McCord, and they're helping me. We're getting a line of stripy tubing down, and we've been making jars, and so I'm gonna have a lot of more offerings than just Marini. I've noticed in the art market, it's like if I just make Marini, sometimes that's not selling all the time. So if I make shot glasses, marbles, I've been making the little baller jars. I don't know if you've seen those kicking around. I saw one dude.
Not that pimp though. I mean, those are next level.
So me and my son sat around all night one night and learned how to make the threads for the jars.
Because those are all handmade.
It's my earplug holder right now. Yeah. So but I've been learning to be a better blower. I can make sections, so I can collab with different artists now. I don't suck near as bad as I used to. So, that's Ben Boehme from Global Glassworks, Future Glass Art now. I've gone and hung out with him for a while. And between Ben Boehme and Rocco, they both were disgusted at my glass blowing skills and taught me all kinds of stuff. So Ben Boehme is awesome. He makes the most amazing prep to work on. So he's the funnest person to collab with I've collabed with before. Rocco too. Rocco is like a magician, and it's like you hung around him for a week, you'd learn anything.
Yeah, that guy. I got to hang out with Rocco for a little bit, and he's a blessed human, man.
Yeah.
For sure.
These are some Marinis we're doing. This is Ben Boehme. He did the wig-wag section and put it on the back of a marble. So he makes the marble. There's all kinds of Marinis inside there. And then I'll take and put Marinis on the outside of the marble. So all my marbles and stuff start as bubbles basically. And I'll make a big section of cane or we'll put Marini on the inside. So many different techniques you can do. And becoming a glass blower is like just being a Marini artist. It's kind of boring. But the cool thing about Boro is you get to play with everyone. Mm-hmm. So there's a kid named Dojo Glass who makes little ramen pendants. Yeah. I've been making him ramen bowls to fill with ramen, like little Marini. They make them look like little ancient Chinese bowls and then send them off to him. And I've worked with Ari, Bluegrass Glass, and he's done some amazing stuff. I love sending my sections out to people that are better than me, because then they make some awesome stuff. Rocco collabs are always nice because Rocco can actually, I'll give him a Marini coin. I gave him an Edgar Allan Poe, just the head, and then he was able to draw the whole body on as a flip drawing and blow it out and make a rig out of it. Just like that dude is cool.
Yeah, yeah. His drawing skills are next level too.
Yeah.
What is your favorite color to work with?
Color? I don't know. I like right now. I've kind of got a fetish for molten Nora colors. I like royal jelly the very most. It's like so
Beautiful
cool.
Color.
Dark purple, light purple. It strikes all the different colors. I literally love citrine and UV glass. All the UV colors. I love UV colors. I can make mushrooms all day long.
I hope North Star gets their Illuminati. Like it's always, we're gonna get it, and we're gonna get it.
Yeah, they're working on it. I think Illuminati's come back, but molten Nora's gonna be making citrine forever.
Right.
So I think that's on their regular rotation. So we'll get another batch of citrine. So uranium colors are pretty awesome, but it's like there's everyone's making some of the other ones like Lucy and Nova, Luna, and like Glass Alchemy has some nice colors too. And this is everyone's like, even the small batch companies are doing really good. Competitive Glass just gave me a sample one called Firewater. That one's pretty cool. It's like cobalt blue that glows pink.
That's a nice transitional pop and everything.
Yeah, and I just like, if you're gonna make Marini, you can throw some UV in there. I mean, I always loved when I was in high school and like anything psychedelic or trippy, So Absolutely. It's like I loved all the UV black light posters, and that stuff's awesome. I want to make a whole black light poster Marini at one point.
Oh wow, that would be pretty crazy. So, yeah, I can't even think of how something like that's done. A whole poster in a Marini.
Yeah, it'll be that big.
Well, yeah, but how Have you ever got to compete in any events or anything?
Just like the Age Glass Awards, and then what do you call it?
And you said you won.
We won. I think I won the Marini Pull of the Year at the World Series of Glass. We did it. I won it with Ian and Nadia. I did a Eon Glass, and we did. I think it was Salvador Dali. We won that one year, and then I won with the Wizard of Oz, and I won with the. I won it 3 years, I think.
So when you go to win.
Yeah. Well, I just enter stuff. Last year, Carl Taylor won because the Starry Night was pretty killer. Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't even. I'm like, no, I'm not gonna win. That's just too cool.
Yeah, I did. I was one of those guys that had to get one of those Millie chips. It was just, it's craziness, that Starry Night thing. Do you own any of your own pieces, or do you end up selling most of your own stuff?
If I make something good, I'll keep an end. You get 2 ends for every pull. And so all my favorite Marinis that I've made, I keep a pull. And a lot of times I'm buying back coins because I when I'm broke, I'll sell everything. And then when I have money, I buy it back when I see it online. Because I try to keep at least 1 coin of everything.
Yeah. I mean, each thing has taken you, hours and sometimes months to make, and it's a big part of your life.
But I already filled up a display case in the house with my own crap. I mean, I collect too. So I think there's like 2 display cases in my bedroom, 1 in the living room, 1 in the kitchen, and then a great big giant display in the basement. It's just stupid. I just need to stop.
So you're also not just a glass artist, but you're just through and through a glass lover, collecting everybody else.
I'm a total junkie. I love like Nathan Middleton's like one of my favorite artists, and Rocco and Carl Taylor. When it's like whenever they make some cool Marinis, I try to grab them.
Man, that's so cool.
Yeah. I actually own. I got a rig just recently. I got a cell from Stoked, and instead of buying it, Babe Adrian and Sable had this really cool skull rig, and I don't smoke pot at all, but I bought that rig because it was killer.
Well, it's the art that
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
And I got a couple pipes from Carl Taylor, and one day I'm gonna have I have Jason Lee's old torch, and my collection was to have like a really cool Jason Lee pipe, and then put his torch. When I'm done with it, I'll put it in the display case. When I'm too old to work, I'll stick it in there with all my Jason Lee stuff. That'll be awesome.
I love the plan, man. You gotta have it.
Yeah. It'll be a stupid glass museum. Yeah.
Well, I hope you can make it public someday, because collecting all that stuff, it takes a collector to be able to get it all. So
yeah.
Maybe it'll all be in the Corning Museum of Glass someday, because your collection is so pimp.
I'll give all my shit to my son when I die. What am I going to do with all this crap?
Yeah, and he'll have a nice museum then.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Do you find you still have the same love and passion today as maybe even when you stumbled across it 19 years ago? Or not?
So I've stuck with glass more than any other medium in my life. Like, I don't know, like when in 2012, I just gave I had like 3 or 4 ceramics kilns in here, a wheel, all these wear boards. I had like a whole pottery arts festival set up for pottery, and I just gave it all away, and then moved out all the glass stuff, built a big bench, and I've been buying more glass tools as I go. So it's just like everything's paid for itself. So I just like whenever it's like I got enough money for a lathe, I'm gonna buy a lathe, and then I gotta try. I got some money for some pot kilns, and we'll try mixing our own color. That's what I want to try next. So it's like there's nothing, you can keep learning stuff all the time with glass. I'll never know everything. If you always feel like a dumb shit, you always have more to learn. And it's like when I start feeling like I know everything, then someone will come along and know, Boehme, you suck. And then I'll say, oh, that's great. I can learn more stuff. So like I can always be better at everything. And there's always more techniques. I made a Marini with nothing but silver and gold fume.
Just
I learned how
to the different colors with a certain amount of gold. And silver.
Just using gold and silver as my lines. That was a Jason Lee thing too. It was make something with just gold and silver and clear. It was called the Thunderdome Challenge. I don't remember those, but I did silver and fuming. There's like And then it's like, I don't know. It's like disc flip drawing. I want to get better at that. I got to work with Windstar, and she like drew a mountain scene on a pipe, and I put Marinis on it, and we vacuum set a bunch of Marini on top of her painting. I want to learn how to paint and do flips like Rocco and her. You know, so what else? There's so much things I can just sit here and think of things I suck at and don't know how to do, and you can get better.
And I think that's what, you know, when you talk to glass blowers, that's the thing. It's a never ending rabbit hole of, man, doesn't matter how good you get, because you're going to suck at the next technique. And
I mean, I've been making wigwags for 5 years, and I still suck ass at them. I can't do it. I bought a car. One of my apprentices gave me a Carlisle, so I got a smaller center fire to make tighter wags. You know, it's just getting better at things. The baller jars have taught me a lot. You know, it's like I want to make like a $3,000 baller jar someday that has so much into this little tiny thing that's just amazing. You know, think about where you can take your marbles. With Carl Taylor, you know, we put 500 millis in one tube. And then we had Hops take that.
How big was the tube? Probably only.
Well, we gave Hops a section like this, so probably 7-8 inches tall. He put it on the lathe and tripled the size of it. He blew out the Marinis. Like, I think the base of the big tube is like 12 inches, 11 inches. And the section, just the can section was like a foot tall. And like there's Marini in the can, Marini in the neck, you know, so I've seen that Marinis exploited almost to the limit, but there's still more we could do.
I love it, man. I love it. And where can we go to follow you, find your work? What's the best places to do that? Website, Instagram?
Right now we're on saltcityglass.com is my website. I keep a lot of Marini on there, and we'll be selling our line tubing on there before line. Fresh Glass Co. is selling some of our line tubing, and on Instagram is where you can find, you can DM me on Instagram if you want to buy something I'm working on. Instagram's probably the best place. I spend all my life there, it seems like. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a little suck, like rabbit hole stuck thing too.
It wastes your life.
I agree. Is there anything else you wanted to add to this, man? This has been freaking amazing for me.
I don't know. I'm just thankful that you do this and get the word out.
Well, I'm thankful that you sat down here, man. Your art is so freaking out of this world amazing. I hope one day that I can meet you in person and get to work with you and do something and maybe gain a little skill from you. You're rolling in it, man. Your Millie work, your Marini work is fucking amazing. And thank you for putting the time into it, because it takes a lot.
Yeah, well, thanks, Ben. You guys have a good one.